Thank you. I'm Liz Parks from the Environment Agency. I just want to talk about why science matters to me and why I think it should matter to all of us here at the conference, and then just some personal thoughts on what makes good science. So why does science matter? Well, you've heard a lot of talk already through the conference about the importance of evidence-based policy, the challenge of doing something better with our waste and resources. And in simple terms for me, if we want to bring about a change in the way we manage our waste and our resources, we need to be really, really clear what we want people to do with it, apart from obviously not produce it in the first place. So to have evidence-based policy, we need to be really clear what is the direction of travel, and that needs to be informed by evidence. We need to know what it is we think, what we believe. And the second thing then is, if actually this is about changing behaviour, the importance of a kind of science that will help to bring about that behaviour change. So it's being very clear what are the behaviours that we need to challenge, what do we need to move from, and what do we need to move to. And we need to communicate the findings of our science in a way that really does engage people and turns them on to the debate rather than turning them off. And I get rather despondent when I see some of the climate change discussions with people arguing about percentages, because I think most of the world, meanwhile, carries on with its shopping, kind of just disengaged. So for me, it says, how do we actually use this to really engage people in hearts and minds and change behaviour? And really, the Environment Agency, we've just a quick plug for our new corporate strategy, and when we were working to put this together, we've got a strategy on waste and resource management. It really struck us how disparate the evidence base is around waste, how the fact is we haven't got this compelling story out there for what it is we need to do differently. We have lots of views, lots and lots of views, more views than I suspect there are people at the conference. But actually, so one of the objectives in our strategy is to be really clear what the best thing is to do with waste. Not to say there's one simple answer, it's about the right mix of options. But unless we can get a broad consensus around the better things to do with different types of waste, according to whether we're trying to chase the carbon, the raw materials, the water, the ecosystem impacts, then we're not going to get people behind. And I think we really haven't made the case for many people on why we need to change behaviour. And then I said I'd talk a little bit about what does good science look like for me. It really does need to be robust enough. So good enough, if you're trying to set the policy direction in government, then you've got to have a certain amount of facts and figures, you've got to know about the impacts, you've got to put it within an economic context. If actually you're trying to make a decision on a local contract, then you'll need a different level of robustness. And if actually you're trying to change the public's mind, then it's different again, and it's really got to be able to be related to people and what they think and the behaviour they act, rather than kind of lots of scientific fact. So being robust enough is really important. Secondly, I think it's got to be really compelling. It's really got to be got over in a way that does excite people, does engage people. We need debate, we need this kind of debate. It's not just a given. People need to have the opportunity to think about what does it mean for them at home, in the office, in schools, wherever it is, as they go about their daily lives. So we've really got to put this over, and that's not just through words, it's through pictures, it's through stories, and it's actually bringing this to life. And I think we've got a long way to go on that around the waste and resource agenda. And I think that's really looking at science from a kind of on the receiving end. But if you're commissioning science, and I think many people here probably have some kind of a role in that, the kind of drop-dead thing for me is being really, really clear what the question is you're trying to answer. I see far too much interesting science that's commissioned, lots of reports that sit on people's shelves, gathering desks, probably now just clog up their email boxes. But if you can't answer that so what question, if you're really not clear why you're doing this, then I don't believe it really adds to the sum of human knowledge. So for us in the Environment Agency, that drop-dead question is always the so what question. What is it we want to know? And if we've thought about the behaviour change and the direction before we commission the science, then it is going to be much more, based on what's the outcome we need to deliver and how we're going to get there. Because trying to then think about some abstract science, how do we communicate this, is the wrong way around. You've got to start with the behaviour change you want to bring about, and in the context of that, what is the evidence base we need to make that really compelling case for change to individuals. Thank you.
Thank you very much.